All right, we're live Thursday, March 28th. It is the last trading day of the week for me. Good Friday holiday is tomorrow. Oh, Norton, we don't care. We have this morning, we got news coming up at 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. So here in 2 minutes, so we'll just kind of wait for now, see what that does. Gold has opened. We're in the open range right now. Big push up again last night. I mean, this is interesting. Doesn't that look familiar? Pretty sure this thing happened yesterday too. Ooh, let's see. Yeah, big push up here. This one happened a little earlier, but big push up, and then we dropped. Kind of waddled around. Actually, I did want to look at this. Like, where would this trade have gone had we got in here, which is what we said was the ideal entry, and just rode it out? Yeah, the high was 69 ticks. So it just never really went. Definitely not a trending day yesterday. Still some good opportunities there. So let's see what she does today. Same thing in oil. Oil really had a strong rally this morning. Nope, here's the news. See what that does. Overnight opens 100 ticks or so away, so that's probably not going to be something that is a factor today, if I had to guess. Whew. What was the news? I don't remember. GDP and jobless claims. There's also consumer sentiment at 10, PMI at 9:45, pending home sales at 10. Kind of a big news day today, actually. Lots of things happening. Yeah, get my trading screen sort of figured out over here. Strong push down and go. Look at how this, we're watching this early. We had a cross way back here. All right, reset. Price moves above. First touch is here, and from there we propel up almost 90 ticks. So that's a good range. Seemed to be a bottom though, right there and right there. And then we had this propulsion up here, and we had a retest down into this fair value gap a little bit before we went higher. we had, I'm just kind of talking through what I see just to kind of cement it in my head a little bit. Created higher highs, and now we're coming down. I don't know. We shall see. NQ came right back down. 32-point candle. Well, that news wasn't particularly exciting. These are big candles for gold right now. We're looking at 20 tick or so candles. The last 1, 2, 3, 4 candles. Would love to not get kind of chopped out of this. Today like we did yesterday. So we'll see. We've got one more minute till this open range forms. Now look at that, form broke out immediately. See if we get some movement down here. I got in off of this candle. Just here, I'll add my execution. Break of this candle a little early, but it's kind of a retest of sorts. So on the off chance we just dump, that's where we want to be part of the action. Did move my stop to break even since we broke through the open range. In case it decides it doesn't want to stay out of there. I like that we came back for this nice little retest here. This continues lower. I will buy a second, or sell rather, a second contract here. If we come up and stop me out for break even, then that'd be just fine. The objective here is just to be part of the move, right? So we're not trying to scalp here. We're trying to get on board the move. So if we're on board and the move doesn't happen and we get out unscathed, that's perfectly fine. We'll do that as many times as we need before, because one of these times we will be on the move and we'll be able to just let it ride. Just hesitating here. So this kind of line from earlier right here. Let's make this a little bigger. So yeah, so we have this kind of resistance, call it line here. We poke down just below it, and now we're reaching back up again, so. All right, so there we go. Stopped out for break even. Well, +1. So we'll see. It's quite likely that this just comes up a little bit and then falls back down. What we'd love to see is we'd love to see it come kind of like all the way back up to the midline or the gold line, somewhere in here, but. SMA. I don't know, I kind of feel like we got out of this one too early. There we go, reach up there. And take these markers off. Get them out of my face. All right, 14 tick candles. So the candles are getting a little smaller, which is good. 60 tick open range. Big open range. Big range. NQ's just sideways, right inside this London. Right inside the London range there. Okay, we're going to give this one another try. We just had the order following these candles all the way up here. See if we get ripped out. We may. Where's the midline? 31.6. Definitely don't like that candle reaction there. That's for sure. I am going to give this one some room to work, though, because we have the red line and the gold line here that are now dipping below this midline. So I have my stop right now at 31.8. So it's up here. So we're 2 ticks above this, which is also a little bit above this. So if we want to come back up here, test this before we move higher, have that opportunity. Back to break even, coming down. We did tap the gold line, so that's a really, really good sign. So naturally, we want to add another contract there since we tapped the line and are coming down. Moment of truth. Or will we break out? There we go. I move my stop to 10 ticks back from my entry. Give it a little room, but we don't want... I mean, we expect this to accelerate down. If it doesn't, then whatever, but... There we go. I do not like this action right now. This is like... This is wild. Okay, break even. Move the stop to break even. I mean, the problem is there's a lot of resistance down here, right? We're breaking through these levels. The next one, though, is like down here. So I mean, we'll see, but kind of seems like if we break below this low here, which we have, and we kind of hold below here, we should, I would think, come down to here. We don't really have any. I mean, there's a little fair value gap in here, but I'm not sure that, I don't think that really means much, right? And we know gold can do this. It can kind of be sort of roly-poly. Break evens at 2229. Right there. So I like that our break even is above, or is it back inside the open range, right? So that means we could theoretically tap this and come down. Oh, is it going to stop me out? Oh, it came close. There it goes. All right, so we got stopped out for break even again. This has been pretty good so far, though. I mean, we're actually up $40, which really isn't anything, but we're not down. So 2 attempts. What do you do in price action? And we're in this sort of steep downtrend right here. So at this point, I'm not too interested in taking another break lower. Except for the fact, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. You'll notice what it's like, what it likes to do, right? We push down, and then this candle wicked way back up, took out some stops, reached lower, kind of did the same thing, reached up, took out some stops, reached lower. So you kind of give it a wide, you know, a little bit of room. Got to keep your stop at a spot where has the ability to reach back up a little bit without grabbing your stop. It can grab everybody else's. Okay, so here it's doing it again. So we're reaching back above here. A little bit of a stronger push up, so we might be changing directions now. We broke above this trend line for whatever that's worth. Probably not much. In fact, I'm going to get rid of that. We have 10 more minutes, not quite 10 minutes until oil opens. We'll wait for that. Be kind of curious to see this reaction. Do we stay underneath? Do we stay on the bottom side of this, or do we wrap it and move up? That's the question here. Boy, if NQ just keeps going sideways like this, it's going to be kind of a boring day. Ooh, this is a nice retest, though. Mine's just a little too sideways. That's the only thing I don't necessarily like about this one. Well, gold seems to have run out of steam here. It's just kind of chilling. All right, this is good. We're pushing back up on the other side of the range. So we did get in once we broke above this, right? So I'm in at 31.8. Prepared for this to be a choppy ride. We'll see. That's my entry. Ready for a bumpy ride over here. We'd love to see it just rocket through, rocket up and out, but it's probably not going to do that for us. We added a second contract at 20. Let's go. Let's go. All right, we're right up into this area of resistance. That was a strong push, though. Since it's been so choppy, I'm going to get out there. So that was an excellent trade. Try not to get excited because it's all about the process. All about the process. So let's review gold this morning. course, we're going to watch it. It's going to trickle up all day long, and we could have, you know, made thousands and thousands of dollars. All right, so this morning we had a push down, strong push down. So down candle, up candle, down candle, testing the 1 minute gold line. I went ahead and took a little bit of a, call it a riskier entry right here, hoping for a break. It did break. Once it broke, we moved our stop to break even, stopped out for break even. Tested again, we got in here. We had a pullback, so we went ahead and got in a second contract. It broke through, moved our stop to break even, stopped out for break even on the position. We had to push up. It didn't quite cross the midline, but pretty close. we were above this resistance level here, so that's, you know, that's kind of what I went with. We wrapped it, we pushed up, we pulled down. I went ahead and put an order at the break of this down close candle here, which we got. Seemed like we had momentum, so I went ahead and added a second contract here, and then sold out here. So total was 40 ticks on the first one, so a pretty small trade, and 20 ticks on the second. So $630 right there. Well, no, because I had 40 from before, so 590 is what that ended up being. Really, we should just stay in this thing. Should just have my stop at break even and just let it go, because it's probably, yeah, see, it's probably going to keep pushing up, but I chickened out. What can I say? Chickened out at $600 profit. I'm still working on this discipline thing, but my entries were disciplined, so I'm happy with that. Following the process, that's all we can do. All right, we're done with gold. Oil is testing the red line for the first time since open, or since it crossed over here. We're in the opening range, testing that. We're way above the overnight open, like way above it. 85. All right, actually this gold trade kind of annoys me because my target would have been right here. Right? Which was actually ATM set up for 60 ticks. Would have been right here, and we got it. That would have been an additional, $400 if I had waited like 2 minutes. That's all right. If you can make money while you're learning, then should be a good thing, right? Oil is, let's see, red line. Yeah, we'll wait and see. Since I had such a good trade over here, I want to be pretty cautious anywhere else. There's no reason to put that at risk if I don't need to, but if a really good setup presents itself, then there's no reason not to add to that balance. What I want to try and do is trade with a $200, I'm going to call it a $200 trailing drawdown rule. So yesterday, can't remember if it was after the stream. I think it might have been after the stream ended. I was up $700, and then I took 2 or 3 trades, and the net result of those, one was up a little bit, down, whatever. The net result was I was down $200. I was down to $500. Okay, so I lost $200. So then I stopped. That was hit my $200 trailing drawdown. So I still ended the day in green. So that's a rule that I'm going to try and discipline myself to stick to, so I don't overtrade. Because I definitely want to be able to take advantage of opportunities that may come up. Right? I don't want to just ignore things, but I also don't want to give away you know, the money that I've made. So that's my new kind of rule. Yeah, that works. The red line here in oil doesn't seem to be holding up very well, which is good. If we trickle down, get across of the lines, a retest towards the overnight open here, that'd be awesome. But we'd have to come, I think, pretty low because we're far enough away that I don't think it's going to be a strong magnet, but we will see. I'm also playing with it's not really another strategy for NQ. I guess it's more of a refined, it's just a different take on the strategy. Based on that, I should be in right now. Ha. Let's see. So what I'm doing on NQ is I was playing around with this yesterday, and I don't have like a lot of data yet. But basically looking at reversal patterns on the 15-minute chart combined with inside bars on the 15-minute chart. Especially when you come into the market flat, right? So we're coming into the market this morning flat. The first reversal pattern on the 15-minute shows long. And here we got a arrow right before the market, not the market open, but I have my kind of starting point at 7:30. So before 7:30, we have kind of a long signal. We got our second long signal, which is, you know, the first 2 or 3 bars after open. The reality of this, as I've gone through it, is you have to have huge stops, right? So basically, if I was to enter in the break of this candle, my stop would have to be below this candle. Okay. So 42 points. So huge stops, but the idea here is if this turns into a day where we just move up out of this range, you know, you can catch 100 point, 200 point moves that way. We didn't get anything yesterday was, if you remember, was a weird day. It just shot down and then consolidated and then shot back up. Which I'm glad I got out. I was done by, I don't know, somewhere in here. Glad I wasn't involved in any of that nonsense. What do we have here? Yeah, see, we have an inside bar, and then we have an up signal. So this one didn't really go anywhere. 35 points. In this case, you could have your stop below your setup bar because it's kind of the pivot low, right? We created this low from here, right? So if it goes below here, you're probably going down. So this one would have had a tighter 20-point stop. So these are much bigger. You're looking at bigger moves. See here we have a down signal and an inside bar. Oops, wrong button. Wrong button. And then we move down, you know, 56 points before it turns around. And again, your stop would be tight. It would be below this because you're kind of working your way down. Anyway, still playing with that idea. So just be kind of watching it to see how it unfolds today. Coming into the market flat makes it a lot harder. If there's a trend, if you're coming into the market trending, it's much, much, much higher probability. See if I can find a day that does that. Yeah, so here we're trending up. Now this move happens really before the 7:30, and then we consolidate. So that's doesn't do us any good. This last like week or two has actually been kind of crappy. Yeah, but here's one, right? We're kind of trending up. We get the signal, tight stop. It goes 100 points. This one doesn't make sense, right? Because we're coming down, we get the up signals. We're not going to pay attention to that. That one doesn't count. Plus, if you get like competing signals, like 1 or 2 bars apart, they kind of like cancel each other out. Of course, here we got a big drop, which, you know, wasn't really obvious based on that setup. But here's a nice one. This one, when you're coming in flat, you get a down signal, get an inside bar, and then it drops. So I've got to work out some of the details. 154 points. But I think there's something there, so definitely going to play with that one. All right, back to our charts. What's happening? Hey, we're back to the gold line. We didn't quite touch it here in gold, but back inside the range. Oh, oil, oil, oil. What are you doing, oil? Not doing anything. 20 tick open range. That's pretty anemic. All right, there's a little bit of a drop. Hey, if you're in the chat, let me know. Leave a comment or drop something in the chat. Let me know what is your primary instrument. Are you trading NQ or are you trading gold or oil, equities or commodities? I'm just kind of curious. All right, so this is what I was hoping to see in oil. I'm really hoping to see it come down. Apex extended their deal, their 80% off 1 day to pass until next week because it's their Easter sale. Always got to be a sell for something. I haven't watched RTY at all lately. I really like this in gold, though. Look at this. We came down. We're testing the midline, red line, gold line. Oof. That's all right. I'm not going to trade anymore over there. But that one's... It's a picture perfect setup there for the gold line. Oh yeah, I was gonna look at RTY just for fun. Well, I guess, what time is it? 13. We still have 1 more minute. It's perfect gold line setup here. Not going anywhere, but I guess we haven't really opened yet, so that's why. I feel like this is a pattern that somebody's watching. I don't know what it means, but I've been getting these things on TikTok fed to me. That's like these fancy pattern setups, and they're really well produced and really cool, but there's so many different weird patterns. I'm like, how do pattern traders do it? I don't understand that. But that's probably something, right? What does this mean? This means this is a triple top. I don't know. Oops. Where do I? Here we go. Remove all those silly lines. Okay. I don't really like how RTY has disrespected this red line so much, though. That's my opinion. Don't let it skew what you are looking at. All right, well, there goes our push on NQ off of our hypothetical reversal indicator on the 15-minute chart. Let's see. What do we think about this break? I don't really like this break because it's, well, I don't know. See, I should have got in on this off of the gold line retest here. Where are my wicks so thick? That's better. I say I don't like it and then watch it just like just blow through. Wouldn't surprise me. Look at that. I mean, it hasn't. It's blown through by 5 ticks right at this point. See what we get out of it. Yeah, you'll have to let me know how that works, how that strategy plays out on oil. What do you have your targets at for the hitchhiker? Do you have it at 10 and 20 or just a single target? Here we got a cross of the lines almost, thinking about it. This would be a much better entry to me. If we cross these lines, we pull back up, tap them, and then drop. That would be ideal conditions. See how it plays out. Meanwhile, gold is flatlined. So if you did take this gold line trade, you would still be in it. And you would be Not very comfortable at all. Well, it depends on where your stop was. If your stop is at the back of the bottom of this candle, then you'd still be in it. But if you had a 10 tick stop, you would have been out right away. Probably 10-20. But that's just, I mean, if you look at this, we tapped here and we went 20. I mean, it does eventually go more. Probably depends on if you're, I mean, that's sort of pre-market hours. So it may move a little bit more, but sometimes oil is tricky. Sometimes it just doesn't move a lot. So probably smaller targets would be better for that strategy. So what do we think about this on oil? We've got push down, small pullback. We're hanging here. We got a nice little reach up and then a drop. What do we think? I don't know. Well, we got meandering NQ over here. This right here was a nicer pullback. I kind of like that. We finally working our way up. So I have to admit, I did get in this trade in oil. So we got in. I don't think this is going to work out, but did get in right here. That was my entry line. I figure we'll find out in the next 7 minutes if I give $100 back or if we make a little bit. Definitely don't like what's going on right now. So our stop is just above these guys right here. It's a pretty tight stop. 50. So am I at 8 ticks? Let me just make sure. 9 ticks. So my entry is at 41. Oh, I got up here. Oh, down here. 41. With a stop at 39. Or no, stop at 50. Sorry. So 9 ticks. It's not really giving us any information other than doesn't know what it wants to do, so probably did. Oh, there we go. There's a little drop. We can push down. Thank you. Be very nice of you to do that for me. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? I don't think I'm gonna be adding to this position. In fact, I really don't like this at all. I'm just gonna get out of that. It may fall. I don't like this whippy choppy action, especially before the equity market's open. It could just fall through here, but I think it's also equally likely that we come back up here, retest before we do. So we'll just basically get out for, we'll call it break even. We made a little bit, but wrong button. It's not the price action we want to see, right? When we get in that, we want to see it just kind of move. It's not moving anywhere, so we're going to pull out and wait for a better opportunity. So that was the entry and the exit. Break even, essentially. All right, gold. Your gold's back in the bottom half of the range. Consolidated for a little while, then dropped. I haven't seen gold react to the overnight open the same way that oil does, but there is some power there, so you keep an eye on that. Trying to see if I can talk myself into an entry here. So we pushed below, we pulled up, and then we dropped down again. This looks bearish to me. But doesn't quite meet all my criteria. Just really, really like that. Yeah, we'll wait and see. All right, 2 minutes still open. See what NQ does. All right, so if it took a touch of the gold line, you should have got your 5 ticks, right? So did you say you have a? Oh, you said you had a 510, but you got stopped out too much. I assume stop loss would be at 10. So in this case, like way up here. See how that plays out. I would think the odds are in your favor on this one, because it's the first touch after a cross, which usually makes a higher probability. But the open could screw that up, so let's see what the open does. Well, gold got to the open, bottom of the open range. And NQ is pushing down. Where's your 15-minute signal now? Uh-oh. All right, we had a failed break out of the bottom. Now we're reaching back up towards the middle, which is perfect. That's what we want to see. No, did you get stopped out on this one? I think so. Yep, probably stopped out on that. That's too bad. I think the open kind of messed with this one a little too much, the equity open, because if we wrap this midline, I will go long, but I'm not. I don't know. Man, look at this. All right. Popped below the range here on gold. Yeah, should have got in here like I wanted to. My instinct said it was a good move, but my criteria didn't corroborate. So that's all right. All right, so this is tricky when oil is in this situation where your red line matches your midline, because gosh, look at gold just go now. That's okay. Basically in my mind I've got two competing things going on. Are we going short off the red line, or are we going long off the midline? Both scenarios could be true, right? Thing is, depending on how you played it, you'd already be in if you're short. Look at gold go. Don't look at gold go. me. I don't see anything happening. But my bias, I don't know. My bias in oil, gun to my head, is that the term? Is long. Could be totally wrong. In which case we'll give up $100, but Man, I got a horrible entry on that one. I would have liked this better if this up close bar closed above that, but it didn't quite. Still got in. I got a lousy. I just marketed in, so I got a lousy fill. I'm in at 58. Way up here. Basically the top of this candle. So stop loss is at 648. All right, stopped out. So I was wrong there. We are falling back down. Yeah, I'm not getting a good feeling with the oil right now. This is too choppy for me. Too choppy for me. Meanwhile, gold seems to be on maybe a path down. We're hugging this gold line. We're at the... Yep, we're going to give it a try. If this doesn't work, I'll be done for the day. If this works, then it works. What can I say? But it's got to go. It's got to go. Boy, look at this pullback in NQ. That's nice. Yeah, I'm closing. I don't like this price action. If it goes, I'm willing to let it go without me. Because I think in this scenario, realistically, I would want to have my stop loss above this high right here, which is 20 ticks away. That's just too far. So let me just watch it like tank right now. The entry here was back here. So the way I should have read this, and I was kind of, I don't know, I was thinking through it, but I hesitated. We pushed out the top of the range. We pulled back into it. We consolidated, and then we dropped down with this pretty strong down close candle. We had a retest up, and then a break lower. So that creates this, I call it breaker block, basically. Here. Right? So the entry would have been a break below this candle, this up close candle. So I should have been in basically at the bottom of this down close candle with my stop loss above the top of this up close candle. So that would have given me a stop of 14 ticks. That would have been fine. And then looking for a break lower. And this one we could have just kind of sort of rode down. The trick would have been that we probably would have got stopped out for break even, because once we broke through the bottom, I would have moved my stop to break even, and then this candle would have come up and tagged us out. So would have been a break even trade, but it would have been, that would have been the entry. Based on my rules ish. Should probably document my rules. Otherwise it would have been more clear, and I would have just taken the trade instead of hesitating and waiting. All right, NQ. Let's go to NQ. Stop loss at 400. So is the stop loss 20 ticks on 2 contracts? Is that the 400? Because if it is, then you never would have hit. Of course, you never would have got your 10 either. I don't know. All right, time to focus. Let's focus in on NQ. So we got data highs over here. That's probably where we're reaching, if I had to just guess. Took out these lows. We violated this fair value gap right here. Boom. That would have been a very nice entry, and I'll bet we get up to here for 46 points. Now, the funny thing is, let's get back to our hypothetical. Would we have got stopped out? I think we would have. Look at this. The arrow's in the way. Yeah, we would have got stopped out. Man. So it would have been a bad day for that strategy. Such as it is. Oh, 20 ticks, 1 contract. So that should only be a $200 risk, right? If it's 1 contract. Might still get there. Where's our the 5-minute chart showed an entry that would have worked, I think. Nope, not quite. It'd still be working. Yeah, it's just choppy sideways right now, so. But we're still below the red line. We're still in the bottom half of the open range, so there's still, I mean, this point in time, I think we still look fairly bearish over there, so. All right. Blowing out of the open range, sort of, not really. And 17 points up to the data highs. The highs that were formed at 7:30. Oh, that's interesting. So those highs at 7:30 took out this high from last night, from basically the aftermarket close. And then we've got yesterday's high of day is way up here, so let's mark that out. So there's some good targets up here. And considering this is basically a Friday, because tomorrow's, not a full day. Yeah, that would have been the entry right here. Beautiful inversion. Well, was it? Wait a minute. We had another fair value gap higher, I guess. That's the problem. This one would also have held. So I don't know. 30-second give us anything? Yeah, basically the same story. 3-minute. Yeah, basically the same story. 2-minute was probably the cleanest fair value gap, but wouldn't have given you the crappiest entry, so. So even though there was this fair value gap up here, I think I would have been okay with just going with this bottom one just because of this price action. Long wicks on the bottom, pushing up. And then we go. Now we're playing around the top of the London range. Pulled back into here. I did jump in here just because I think we're going to hit that. Oh, about for break even. And Q is too whippy for me. Actually, we got out for a little more than break even. So we're still up $600. Oh, nice. You got $180 out of that one. Very good. Not the way we like to make $180. But it paid off, I guess. So that's good. Now, this is kind of interesting. Okay, this fair value gap, I think, is actually here. I do not think this candle has a wick on top of it. Well, it does have a little wick on top of it. Oh, no, it doesn't. So we didn't quite get that. It's interesting. At least not yet. Oh, now we're pushing up. Now we're pushing up. Just needed a little pullback. You go pick up some more liquidity, and there it goes. Yeah, that would have been a nice trade if we'd have got in off of this one. That would have been the perfect inversion. Beautiful, 46 points. That would have been a nice. That would have been a nice day. I'm not watching Dodgy this morning, but what do you want to bet he took that? I gotta open it up just to see. Yep. All right, he took the 3-minute though, because that was the cleanest one, right? So yeah, and that's what we said, right? The 3-minute was the cleanest one. Well, actually, that's not too bad. What was I looking at? Was it the 2-minute that gave us the? Oh yeah, the 2-minute one was huge. Oh yeah, the 3-minute one was better. Look at that. Close above. It would have given you the biggest stop loss too, though. So depending on how you feel about that, well, it was not too bad. 12, 15 points. If I wasn't so distracted by oil over here and gold, been a nice one. Really clean target, really clean entry. Doesn't get much better than that. Okay. Enough of that nonsense. Oh, yeah, it's all kinds of choppy. Oh, man, look at that. That's ugly. Ooh. Ooh. That is super ugly. Wonder if the 5-minute in gold looks better. What does that look like? Like the 3-minute or something. Boy, look at this 5-minute reversal pattern right here in gold. That's beautiful. Just write that down. That's interesting. I might have to watch out for that. Now we're finally breaking down out of the range. Finally. It really chopped everybody out before it made its move. Look at this candle here, though. Long wick, no body, pulled all the way down. Came up here, sort of tried to test the red line, and then we dropped. All right. Well, you know what? I think I'm going to call it a day because Gold broke down already. Oil, yeah, who the heck knows what oil's doing? I kind of think I wouldn't be surprised if oil just kind of dribbles down the rest of the day. If I had to guess. I mean, this would have been this sort of second tap of the red line here. This would have been a good entry point. It's just a really tight range. It's not really going anywhere. We'll see. And beautiful morning play on NQ, which we missed. But it played out just so nicely. It just doesn't get any better than that. So I felt like it was a good day. I felt like I didn't make any bad decisions. All my trades were process, right? It's all about the process. You got to follow the process. Let the outcome take care of itself. Followed the process, and the outcome today was good. So I better step away before I get distracted and start to see things that aren't really there. So that ends the week. Hopefully you have a good day, a nice long weekend, and we'll be back at it Monday. Talk to you later.